London, mid-century, a city of coal smoke, cockney laughter and promise. It hummed with engines, trams and the chatter of market stalls. Families rose early, shared kitchens and knew every neighbour by name. Children played in streets where cars moved slowly and friends were everywhere. Markets were theatres of life, hawkers calling crates of apples and tea. You bought what you needed and gossip came part and parcel with the groceries. Pubs were our living rooms, warm, noisy and stubbornly familiar. A pint and a chat could cure a bad week and make new friends. On Saturdays, football pulled communities together. Songs, rivalry and pride. You measured your week by results on the pitch and stories in the pub after. Buses were the great equalizer. The route master climbing every hill with a grin. Black cabs and drivers who knew every backstreet. You could trust them. The tube smelled of oil and conversation. Handrails warmed by countless palms. Posters promised nights out. New records and fashions worth searching for. Radios stitched the city together. News, comedy, and the songs that made us move. Small businesses kept streets alive. Bakers, barbers and tailors who remembered your name. And then the city began to change. Bright colours bleeding into old corners. Carnaby Street pulsed with new fashion, music and a youthful swagger. Style, sound and attitude found each other in the city's new quarters. It all sounded like something new and something of home. Fashion exploded. Mary Quant cut hemlines and borrowed time from the future. Women walked taller in minis and boots and everything felt a little braver. Boutiques in Soho and Carnaby Street sold the idea of a new identity. Mod suits and neat haircuts made the streets look like a parade. Music was the engine. New bands, packed clubs and new radio shows. The Beatles became the heartbeat of an era. Their songs everywhere, from cafes to living rooms. Singles were currency. Everyone had the latest record and a favourite tune. Dancing was direct and joyous. Rock and roll, skiffle and something new each week. Accessories mattered. Sunglasses, shifting patterns and confidence in small details. Many pieces were handmade or tailored. Craftsmanship met rebellion. You queued for gigs and discoveries. Nights were experiments of sound and style. From jazz to rock, the city offered every mood, every rhythm. Street photography captured the era. Smiles, cigarette smoke and the tilt of a hat. There was an optimism, a rush that something important was unfolding. The images travelled. Magazines, radio and records carried London's voice worldwide. And when morning came, the city returned to its rhythms. Jobs to do, trains to catch. Music kept the city awake, even after the lamps were lit. Songwriters wrote about love, walking home and the streets themselves. But not everyone lived by nightlife. Work was the pulse for many. Mornings meant the commute, a river of people flowing to offices and factories. Tickets were torn, faces were set, and the tube carried us under the city. Factories hummed with industry, many found steady work in assembly and mills. Offices still smelled of ink and type, and shorthand ruled the day. Tradespeople practiced skills passed down generations. Their hands kept the city moving. Local shops were anchors. You trusted the butcher, the baker, the candle maker. Lunchtimes were quick and communal, bread, meat and a strong cup of tea. Messengers, cyclists and delivery boys stitched the fabric of daily commerce. Conductors, drivers and station staff were familiar faces, part of the city's memory. A night ride home in a cab felt safe and somehow private. When shifts ended, the city exhaled, pubs filled, theatres lit and cinemas queued. Films and theatre offered escape. They were part of what we saved for. Night buses and the late tube became last confidants on long evenings. You saw the city's whole life in the span of a ride home. Progress arrived as cranes and concrete. Older trades adapted or disappeared. Timetables keyed our days. Appointments, shifts, and the rhythm of the week. By dusk, the city softened and stories began to be told over dinner tables. Every headline, every song added to the conversation of daily life. And as years passed, we would look back and realize how much changed. The 60s was a collage, bold moments stitched to ordinary days. We remember not only the headlines, but the small, warm details. There was energy, daring, and a belief that new things could be made. Opportunity and creativity bloomed in streets that once felt grey. But change also cost us familiar corners, old trades, and quieter ways. Some things vanished gently, others were swept aside in the rush. For many, the 60s are a personal map of first loves and first jobs. A song could open a whole room of memory and bring a night back to life. The city we knew then shaped the one we inherited now. Names of places carry echoes: Carnaby, Soho, the East End, each a story. To have lived there was to be part of something loud, quiet and alive. We keep those memories like photographs, edges worn, colours warmed by time. Thank you for stepping back with me, for remembering and for listening. If you enjoyed this, subscribe for more stories from the city's past.